Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So Act 9 Chapter 1 The Revelation is dropping on September the 11th, so 6 days from now, and we do have full details of it. So let's go over the Kabam's post. The details do include the exact amount of rewards, and effectively the best we can say is they're exactly what Kabam said in the stream, no more, no less than that. Act 9, Chapter 1 is beginning of the end of Book 2, as we head towards the climactic conclusion of Karina's war against Ouroboros and the sinister Chrono Serpent. With their enemies closing in, the Chrono Serpent has become desperate and will use every tool at their disposal to defeat the summoner, lay claim to the realm. As a result, they have activated a potent but unstable effect known as Scourge, granting the Chrono Serpent's followers additional powers to aid. They are effectively going to be the new nodes. So send those champions, rank up those relics, and see if you have what it takes to overcome Act 9. The story quest standard Act 9 is composed of the following. One act containing 4 chapters, each chapter consisting of 6 quests. Each quest is made up of 3 paths with 6 encounters per path, 3 final bosses, not path dependent, 3 choice nodes found just before fighting the final bosses. So the standard format, 3 parts, and there is also immediate kind of like lowering of expectations, I suppose, coming with the story content being only 3 parts, because story content really has evolved over time from being the most crucial, the most significant, the most difficult piece of content to something smaller than that, because there is more in Malachans of Champions, which again, I do not necessarily think is a bad thing. It's just the fact that story content isn't what it used to be when Act 4, 5, and 6 came out. Story content has less of a role overall in the game than it used to, because there are more game modes, there are more things happening in the game constantly. And that's fine, that's perfectly fine. I don't have an issue with that at all. However, obviously that overall will be reflected in the rewards as well. However, with the release of Act 9.1, this will mark a very significant part or transition in a game where any player who is actively playing the game has no good excuse not to be valiant anymore, because exploring Act 8 and exploring Act 9.1 effectively gives you the 3 rank 3s required if you haven't done any Alliance Wars, if you don't play Battlegrounds, if you don't like long form content like Necropolis. It's just story content that is significantly easier than it used to be, and I do sincerely believe that is achievable to anybody who plays the game at, moderately active pace. So anybody starting the game right now, you could quite literally just focus on story content and a little bit of side quests and stuff like that. And obviously, as you clear through that, you should be able to become valiant. So I do think that it is important transition period, because we often get these conversations about Paragon players being left out of the best and the biggest rewards just because you don't play Battlegrounds, just because you don't like Alliance War, and so on and so forth. But now, release of Act 9.1 definitely marks that passing point where you can become valiant just doing the more basic content of the game, which is the story quests now. And if you feel like you should be getting the best rewards in the game, that is perfectly achievable with some activity, obviously roster development, which again can be achieved moving through side quests and the story content itself. Quest energy cost. Each quest consists of 3 paths with an average 23 nodes per path. Each path also contains 6 fights plus the final boss fight. Total energy would be 1,242. So that's pretty standard. Updated global nodes. Before we get into the new mechanics from Act 9.1, it is important to bring the new global nodes that you will find layered on top of every fight in 9.1. We have removed pulling rank 6 stars from the global nodes in Act 9. Summoners are still free to bring in their 6-star champions into story quest content, but they will be less effective compared to the 7 stars who benefit from the sizable attack bonus of pulling rank 7 stars. Adrenaline Rush. The attacker gains up to 100% damage reduction at all times, scaling with their current adrenaline. Adrenaline is gained after being struck. Hold the Line. The attacker gains up to 80% block proficiency at all times, scaling with their current adrenaline. Pulling rank 7 stars. 7-star Attackers gain a permanent attack bonus based on their rank, going from 8 plus 800 to 2800. Free-spirited, the attacker's spirit gain rate is increased by 100%. That would be your relics filling up quicker. Scourge of the Balrog. Act means new mechanical menace. Custom nodes. For Act 9, they're rolling out Scourge System. Scourge nodes grant the defender an escalating threat or benefit that increases in chance and or potency as the defender accumulates Scourge charges. While some of these Scourge nodes will be counterable with RPG effects, others will only be preventable by controlling the amount of Scourge charges the defender has. How do they gain Scourge and how do you remove it once it's dead? And this effectively was perfectly fine mechanic. In beta test, it didn't pose much issues at all. Effectively, opponents would be gaining, let's say, 10% Fury every 10 seconds, and then every time you intercept, you remove 2 Furies or something like that. It's kind of like a mechanic that builds up the threat or potential threat, and that you can or should counter. Proliferate nodes give defenders Scourge charges over time, course of the fight, pausing only for a few seconds whenever the player performs a specific action. While it can be beneficial to keep proliferate nodes paused for as long as possible, it's much more advantageous to remove Scourge charges from the defenders throughout the fight. Clarify nodes is going to be exactly what you have to do to remove these nodes, either by RPG requirements or by specific actions, by intercepts, knocking them down, so on and so forth. And then you can get rid of Scourge charge and effectively nullify that node. Strike while the Iron's Hat. In addition to a handful of new quest nodes throughout Act 9.1, we have circled back to the addition of class-based striker nodes. It's been some time since we rolled out last batch of these divisive nodes, but based on past feedback from the community and our own players here at Kabam, we feel confident that these new quest nodes are coming in at the right time and some exciting effects everyone will enjoy. Now, the striker thing, I kind of personally disagree with it because not only Kabam themselves have kind of abandoned relics, but in general, it just still kind of feels like a chore to make sure that you have the relics on the champions that you need specifically for those nodes. If the relic release had continued as normal and we could give more champions just random, 3-star and 4-star relics, I think that would be fine. But again, this is just one of those things that, to me personally, makes content somewhat less fun. Make it feel like more homeworky type of thing. I don't think it's the end of the world. I don't think it's the biggest deal ever. I just think if Kabam has not released any new relics for like nearly a year now, then they should not add new striker-based nodes either, because they can't have their cake and eat it too. Yes, relics exist in the game, but they're far from thriving. An exceptional assassin, Act 9, Chapter 1, brings another exciting boss to the contest in form of Ouroboros corrupted assassin X-23 Orochi. Now, this is the fight that I have no idea about. I did not get to play it against it in the beta test. Obviously, we do have the leaked abilities, but until you play these fights, it's kind of hard to actually gauge difficulty. All that said, Kabam has absolutely nailed with these bosses for pretty much every single time. I do enjoy, the Kangs, the Gwynmaster, the who we had, all those weird names. Puncher 2099, and the Maestro, no, but the Hulk and the Black Widow Deadly Origins, Vitalis. And I think all of those are perfectly fine bosses. I have zero kind of issue with Kabam's boss design. In the form of Orochi, Lore's existing claws have been upgraded with an extended range of lethality after being imbued with celestial materials. Additional X-23 mutant regenerative powers have equalized with the Chrono Serpent's toxic influence, turning her into a living plague capable of infecting everything around her with decay and degeneration. All of this combined with X-23 already formidable combat skills makes Orochi a formidable foe. Yeah, I'm sure, having immunities or having tech champs will be helpful for it. Other than that, we're just going to have to wait and see. So, the rewards. The path rewards have been updated, but first of all, let's take a look at the completion rewards. When you complete the quest, you get 1 tier 4 Catalyst, which is not bad, 5,000 Titan Shards, 1 6-star Relic Shard Crystal, 15,000 7-star Hero hero crystal shards, 12 tier 6 class catalyst fragment crystals, 25% each, 10 tier 3 alpha, 10 tier 6 basics, 2 million gold. Wish there was more gold. Chapter 1 exploration rewards, 2 rank up gems, 1 to 2, fair enough, 1 7-star class hero crystal, 3 tier 6 class catalyst selectors, 1 nexus 6-star relic crystal, 10,000 titan shards, 85,000 tier 4 alpha catalyst fragments, 20 7-star signature stones. And then obviously there are the path rewards, which consist of 1 million gold, 5 tier 6 class catalyst fragment selectors, 25% each. Now this is actually quite juicy because it's like over tier 6 CC that you can kind of split as you want. 5,700 tier 4 alpha catalyst fragments, 2,500 7-star hero crystal shards, 1,000 titan crystal shards, 9,000 units. And this is the final interesting bit. So Kabam said we're going to get over a titan crystal, which they are technically right, because we get 15k here and then 6k from path rewards, which is 21,000 titan crystal shards. So we are just about above 1 titan crystal. They said we are gonna get over 3 tier 4 alpha catalyst fragments, and we get 5,700 fragments extra for it to be over 3. So technically, what Kabam said was accurate, but they kind of themed these rewards as low as possible to still be truthful to the statement of the stream. It is over 3 tier 4 alphas, just barely though. It is over a full titan crystal, just barely though. Which, you know, I can't... They're right. I mean, they're technically right. Overall though, again, for what this piece of content is, I do think that it's fine, it's good, it's decent set of rewards. That's what I'm going to say. Again, for a piece of content that can be blitzed through in, you know, like half a day or less than that, I think a tier 4 like full on rank 3 7-star, good, titan crystal and some 7-star crystal and, you know, some relic stuff, which, whatever. I think it's perfectly fine. I don't have any major issue with these rewards, especially considering how many different avenues of rewards we do get in the game in general. It is kind of pointed out that people are pointing out that this is coming out on September 11, and like with the names and everything else. I mean, like, it's kind of funny, but okay. It's just the date for most of the world, I suppose. I don't know if they did it on purpose or not, though. Either way, those are all the details from Act 9. Now, being somebody who played through the beta, I can wholeheartedly tell you that aside from 1 or 2 lanes, it was fairly straightforward. There were like a couple of tricky lanes where I hope Kabam adjusted some things. And aside from that, the only big issue here is the health pools. I do hope they reduced the health pools, because even though the fights were not hard in particular for most part, it felt very long and quite tedious in a lot of fights, especially where you didn't get any damage boost, because the health pools were massive there. And when you need to use RPG counters, which will realistically not be at the highest rank possible, it will drag on. Like, when I played the beta, I put on recall masteries, I put on power back boosts, and I put on, you know, largest boost possible, and it still was long. So realistically, I'm not going to be doing that when I'm going to be playing through this time around. I'll probably boost up some, not to the max. I'll probably won't put on recall masteries because that limits the champions that can use effectively. And that means that it could feel quite tedious of a task, despite it being only 3 parts per quest. So I do hope that there are some changes made, maybe health pools lowered. I'm not even, you know, talking about attack values, because those are big too, but, you know, that's fine. At high attack values just means, you know, do not get hit in the face, or if you do, you're probably going to have to revive. The health pools being so large as they are means there's very little you can do to make it faster, or within reason faster anyways. So that's the full announcement for Act 9.1. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys soon. Bye bye. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the